You think the only way to make her feel your absence is to disappear. You think silence is power, but here's the truth. No one told you. Silence doesn't hurt her the way you think it does. And if you're honest with yourself, you already know that. Because while you're sitting there counting the days of no contact, hoping she's thinking about you, hoping she's feeling your absence, hoping she's missing what she lost, she's moving emotionally, mentally, socially. You think your silence is pressure, but most of the time, it's just space. And space doesn't always bring someone back. Sometimes it just makes it easier for them to leave. Now, before you get defensive, listen carefully. No contact has its place. Distance can be powerful, but the way most men use it is weak. They use it like a hiding place, like an emotional bunker. They disappear because they're hurt. They disappear because they're confused. They disappear because they're hoping silence will magically make her realize your value. But hoping someone realizes your value is not power. It's desperation wearing a disguise. And if you're serious about becoming the kind of man who commands respect, attraction, and emotional gravity, you need to understand what actually moves female psychology. But before we go deeper, let me say this. If you're the kind of man who wants the truth instead of the comfortable lie, you should subscribe and stay close to this channel. Not because I need subscribers, but because the world is full of voices telling men to numb themselves, to cope quietly, to accept mediocrity. You need reminders of who you're capable of becoming, because the man you're trying to become is built through truth. So here's the real thesis. No contact isn't what affects her the most. Your transformation is. Your emotional independence is your ability to move forward with power, clarity, and purpose without orbiting her life. That's what shakes someone. And here's the misconception most men fall into. They believe attraction is maintained through attention or removed through silence. Attention versus silence, but that's the wrong frame. The real frame is this: neediness versus self-respect, presence versus emotional dependence. See, a needy man chases, but a wounded man hides, and both are controlled by the same thing, her. One runs toward her, the other runs away from her, but both are reacting to her. And reaction is weakness. Because the moment your behavior is built around what she might think, feel, or do, you've already given away your center. Now, here's the hard truth. Women are deeply sensitive to emotional stability. Not words, not promises, stability. They feel it instinctively. They feel when a man is grounded in himself. They feel when a man is chasing validation. They feel when a man is withdrawing to provoke a reaction. And when your silence is motivated by strategy instead of self-respect, she can feel that too. That's called emotional manipulation. And manipulation never builds attraction. It destroys trust. Because real attraction isn't created by disappearing. It's created by becoming someone whose presence has weight. Let's talk about why this happens. Most men tie their identity to the relationship. When she leaves or pulls away or loses interest, their center collapses. Suddenly, their routines change. Their focus disappears. Their mood depends on her messages. And when she's gone, they don't know who they are without her. So, they cling to the one thing they think they can control: silence. I'll just go no contact. But deep down, it's not about healing. It's about hoping she notices, hoping she panics, hoping she comes back. But hope is not strategy. And more importantly, hope is not identity. Here's the cost of living like that. You pause your life. Your growth slows down. Your focus stays locked on someone who already walked away. And every day becomes a silent negotiation with your phone. Did she text? Did she look at my story? Did she notice I disappeared? And while you're sitting in that loop, you're not becoming the man you could be. You're just waiting for validation, waiting for closure, waiting for her. That's the trap. So what should you do instead? You stop performing absence, and you start living presence. Presence in your own life, presence in your mission, presence in the way you carry yourself. You stop trying to send signals through silence. You send one message through your actions: I'm moving forward. Not dramatically, not bitterly, not to prove anything, just forward. You rebuild your routines. You strengthen your body. You sharpen your mind. You reconnect with the parts of your life that existed before she entered it. Because here's the psychological reality. People feel the loss of someone who becomes larger than the space they left, not someone who disappears and waits. That's why the man who actually shifts the dynamic isn't the one playing games. It's the one who evolves. Let me paint the archetype for you. There's a man most people rarely talk about. Not the loud alpha caricature, not the emotional doormat, something deeper. This man wakes up with direction. His days are structured around progress, not distraction. His time has value. His attention has boundaries. He doesn't chase conversations that don't reciprocate energy. He doesn't beg for explanations. He doesn't try to manipulate emotions. He accepts reality, and then he builds anyway. If someone walks away from him, he doesn't crumble, but he also doesn't turn cold and bitter. He simply recalibrates. That's emotional strength. That's self-respect. And that kind of man does something powerful. He becomes hard to replace, not because he tries to be, but because his life has gravity. When he leaves a space, people feel the difference. Because he wasn't just occupying time. He was bringing presence, meaning, direction. And here's the part most men underestimate. Women remember emotional stability. They remember how safe they felt with a man who knew who he was. But they also remember the moment that stability cracked. The moment he became reactive, needy, lost. So when you focus on rebuilding that internal center, you're not doing it for revenge. You're restoring the most attractive trait a man can have. Groundedness. Now, let's get practical. First, you stop monitoring her life. Stop checking her social media. Stop analyzing her posts. Stop decoding stories like they're secret messages meant for you. But they're not. That's called emotional attachment addiction. And every time you check, you reinforce it. Second, redirect your time aggressively. Idle time is where emotional spirals grow. Fill your days. Train harder, work deeper, build skills that compound over years. Your life should be expanding so fast that nostalgia struggles to keep up. Third, rebuild your social gravity. Spend time with people who challenge you. Friends, mentors, environments that demand growth. Isolation feeds obsession. Momentum destroys it. Fourth, develop boundaries, real ones. If she reaches out again someday, you don't instantly drop everything. You don't rush back into the same dynamic. You observe. You listen. You decide. Because the man you're becoming doesn't accept recycled versions of the same chaos. He requires alignment, respect, consistency. And if it's not there, he walks away calmly. No speeches, no bitterness, just clarity. Now, let's address the question sitting in the back of your mind. What if she never comes back? Good. Because that question reveals the deeper issue. You're still measuring your worth through her decision. But the real shift happens when you realize something. Her return is not the victory. Your growth is because when you become the man with discipline, direction, and emotional independence, your options expand. Your confidence stabilizes. Your life becomes bigger than one relationship. And ironically, that's the moment when people start feeling your absence. Not when you disappear in silence, but when you outgrow the version of yourself they once knew. That's what creates real psychological impact. It forces a reevaluation. Who is he now? Did I underestimate him? Did I lose something rare? But here's the key. You're not doing it for those questions. You're doing it because the alternative is staying the same man who got stuck in the first place. And that's not acceptable anymore. So you stop waiting. You stop performing strategies designed to provoke emotions. You stop building your life around someone else's awareness. You build it around your standards, your direction, your purpose. And something interesting happens when you do. Your energy shifts. Your conversations change. Your posture changes. Your decisions become cleaner. You stop chasing validation because you're too busy building value. And that energy, it's magnetic. Not because you're trying to attract anyone, but because people feel when someone is aligned with themselves. That's the man who wins long term. Not the one who mastered texting strategies. Not the one who vanished hoping someone notices. The one who became unshakable. The one who rebuilt his life with intention. The one who decided that heartbreak would be fuel, not identity. So, if you're sitting there right now thinking about whether you should text her, or stay silent, or wait another week, you're asking the wrong question. The right question is this: what kind of man are you becoming through this experience? Because pain can do two things. It can shrink you, or it can forge you. One turns you into someone who waits. The other turns you into someone who builds. And the moment you choose the second path, something powerful happens. You take your power back, not from her, from the version of yourself that forgot who he was. You remember your standards. You remember your discipline. You remember that your life was never meant to revolve around one person's approval. You are not here to beg for attention. You are not here to manipulate emotions. You are here to build a life that reflects your highest potential. And when you do that, everything changes. Your relationships improve. Your confidence stabilizes. Your decisions become sharper because you finally understand something most people never learn. The strongest position a man can stand in is self-respect. So, forget playing silent games. Forget counting days of no contact like it's some magic formula. Instead, become the kind of man whose life keeps moving forward regardless of who stays or leaves. That's what creates real impact. That's what commands respect. And that's what restores your identity. You are not defined by who walked away. You are defined by who you become after they do. So stand up, refocus, rebuild, and remember this. You are not waiting for your life to start again. You are the one who starts it right now. And if you want more of this kind of clarity, real conversations about discipline, self-respect, and becoming the man most people never have the courage to become, subscribe and stay connected to this channel because you're not the only one walking this path. There's a community of men out here choosing growth over comfort. And if you're still listening right now, you're one of